So we will understand everything on NAT, whatever we have learned, static NAT, dynamic NAT, and PAT. So guys, I've explained about the source NATing, destination NATing, and twice NATing. I have also explained the types of NAT, static NAT, dynamic NAT, and dynamic path. Okay, this we already explained. So guys, I'm not saying anything, but I want to explain some more NAT, just one or two. It is a Cisco NAT, but you guys should have understand. Okay, don't be confused, but the knowledge you should have, get the knowledge for that. Yeah, see. So I will explain you to NAT later on today's call, today's session. So there is a one more NAT, two more NATs. I just want to explain. This is not a Palo Alto NAT. I'm sorry. One is identity NAT, guys. Okay, identity NAT. Okay. So what is identity NAT? As the name, you can think see that identity. Identity means what, guys? Same, right? Same, duplicate. What is synonyms of identity? It means that same. So it means like if we want to do a NAT, some kind of scenarios, if we have a two zone inside and DMZ, okay, and inside and DMZ, and packet if will go from PC1 to like inside zone to inside DMZ zone, it has to be NATed. Okay, it has to be NAT. It means it has to be go by the NAT configuration. I'm not talking about the IPs. Okay, because inside to DMZ it's the same. It means private IPs can go from inside to DMZ, right? Only for the public only for the public it should have get the public IP, right? That concept is clear. So if from like if any connection from inside zone to DMZ zone, in some scenarios I'm talking about, always remember, don't be confused. Okay, it is not a Palo Alto firewall. Just want to give you the concept of this. Like if one PC want to go to the DMZ access, but it has to go through the NATed. Okay, so what we can do, we can NAT the same IP. Like I have this IP, I will NAT in the same IP. I will do the configuration that this IP is NAT in the same IP. That's it. It is NATing on its same IP. Why? Because I have to fulfill the NATing configuration because it has to be go by the NAT. Which, if you will ask which scenarios it will work in the Cisco firewall, Cisco ASA firewall, there is a concept NAT control, guys. Okay, what is NAT control? I'm not talking about the Palo Alto, but I want to give those knowledge in the interview. If someone would ask, if NAT control will enable, okay, in the firewall, this is firewall, and you have enabling means what? We know the enable or disable, right? You have enabled the NAT control to the firewall. So any traffic going from anywhere from any to any, it has to be go from the NAT configuration. It has to be NATed. That is the meaning of NAT control. If you enable the NAT control, the IP want to access from any zone to other zone, any zone, it has to be go to the NAT configuration. Got my point, guys? So that point of time, I don't want to make some big configuration. I will NAT on the same IP. That's it. The same IP configured with the same IP. That's called identity NAT. This is the flow. The flow, it has to be go first. It will check the first NAT configuration. Okay. If there is a no NATing configured for the mentioned source IP and destination IP, your connection would be dropped on there only. Okay. So that's why in this kind of scenarios, what I'm doing, I will NAT the same IP. Like this is my IP. Okay. 10.1.1. This PC want to access this PC, which IP is 172.16.1.1.1. Okay. If this PC want to access this, I have enabled the NAT control. What would happen, guys? Only allowing the policy, only allowing the security policy, it's not going to work. Anyway, the basic thing, if NAT control is not enabled, it is disabled. Only allowing the policy, it is going to work, right, for accessing. But if NAT control is enabled, at that point of time, you have to be also do a NAT configuration. So what I will do, 10.001, okay, it's original packet, okay, original packet, okay, guys. This is source IP. What is my destination IP? Destination IP is 172.16.1.1. That is fine. What is my translated packet, guys? Translated packet. Source IP, I have NATed on the same IP, 10.0.0.1. And my destination is the same, 172.16.1.1.1. See that your original packet, your translated packet is the same traffic, same IP, both sides. Okay, but I have created one NAT policy. Okay, it's required a NAT check. That's it. It's required a NAT checking. So in this kind of scenarios, we will use identity NAT. Okay, it is not for the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, I'm giving one example. Okay, if NAT control is enabled, this is the scenario based. Okay, if NAT control would enable, your IP should have been go by the NAT check. So it's required a NAT configuration, guys. Okay. Let me explain. If you're going inside to outside, it's definitely going to use by the dynamic path. We are achieving it by the dynamic path, right? We are already achieving it by the dynamic path. I've explained. One is it will take either interface IP or either any free IP. So NATing configuration has to be checked. Whether it's a static NAT, whether dynamic NAT, whether dynamic path, whatever it is, it has to be go by the NAT check. That's it. That is the meaning of NAT control. So if you create a dynamic path event, it's going to be work. Like if you have a 200 user, okay, 200 users. Your question only. This is a firewall. Okay, this is DMZ. You have enabled the NAT control. Okay. Because I have learned NAT control because I'm a Cisco expert, so I want to explain this thing. Don't be confused, guys. Okay, because you should have know all the parts of NAT. Okay, so like if you have a 200 users here, 200 users, if those want to go to the DMZ access, we can't do we can do each 200 users NATing on this statically, right? Or using identity NAT on the same IP. It's a bulk configuration. What we can do? Either we can use any dynamic path configuration, right? Like we can create a 200 user, have a subnet of 10.0.0.8. So we will create a configuration like this is the source IP, source subnet. Whenever it will go to this IP, what is my source NAT? I will assign one NAT that whenever those will go, it will take IP of 10.1.1.1. That's it. So whenever those will try to go to DMZ, it will go with this IP. So you can manipulate it. Okay, you can make your configuration anything like this. I'm just explaining what is identity NAT in some kind of scenarios where for crossing one zone to other zone, one interface to other zone, NAT is required. This kind of scenarios you can use identity NAT. In identity NAT is natting in the one IP into the same IP. That is meaning of identity NAT. And make sure, guys, it is unidirectional. Okay. What is the meaning of unidirectional? It is only initiate traffic from inside to outside, not from outside to inside. It means only initiated from the initiator. Okay. It is a one side. It is initiated from the initiator. That's it. That is the meaning of unidirectional. And the same thing, like I've explained the NAT, identity NAT, there is a one NAT called NAT 0. NAT 0 is the same. Okay. Like identity NAT. Like if you have IP is 10.0.0.1, it is natting to 10.0.0 same IP. Okay. Same thing, but it is bidirectional. That's the only difference. Okay. Identity NAT and NAT 0. Sometimes it will ask in the interview. Okay, it's the same thing, same concept. Like it is netting from one IP to the same IP, but it is bidirectional. NAT 0 is a bidirectional. Source as I explained. Okay, for the DMZ. Okay, if traffic coming from the DMZ to inside PC, this is 10.0.0.1. This is 172.16.1.1.1. If this one will initiate a traffic and NAT control is enabled, okay, and it has to go by the NAT config. So that time source IP would be what? 172.16.1.1.1. Destination IP is what? 10.0.0.1. And this original packet, okay? Original packet. This is translated packet. Translated packet is the same. Source IP is 172. Nothing is going to change, but it has to be in the same. And destination IP is same 10.0.0.1. Those are the same. Yeah, you can configure likewise. Okay, for the NAT 0. Okay, so there is a term NAT 0. You have to be follow. This is not a Palo Alto. This is Cisco. But just understand this. Sometimes it will ask me a question. Okay. That is clear, guys. Okay, there is a one more NAT in the UNAT, guys. Okay, this is a Palo Alto NAT. It is not much in use, but what is UNAT, guys? Is nothing else. Like if we have in the DMZ, if we have a one PC and it has a public IP like 1.1.1.1, public IP in the DMZ only. Okay, and if our inside zone, any local zone, want to access this DMZ in the public IP, so it requires NAT, right? Because private IP not able to access the public IP, right? It's not. It won't be communicated to each other. So that is called UNAT. UNAT is what? If your local zone, local subnet, if your local subnet want to access any local PC or any local server, okay, any local server having public IP, Okay, guys. So that time we will create a such kind of NAT configuration, like any kind of, you can use any kind of NAT, static NAT, dynamic pad, whatever it is. Okay, we can configure like this. But the thing is that the concept is UNAT is not belongs to the outside. It belongs to the inside only. Okay, that is clear, guys. So that is called UNAT. Okay, if any IP, any server, if you have a locally somewhere, locally means what, guys? Okay, like outside only. Okay, has a public IP, and in the inside that is called a secure zone, inside zone, whatever. If you have multiple zone, okay, if you have a even in your any other zone, if you have some server which is not have a um, private IP, it has a public IP, right? According to the requirement, right? You want to give the public IP of this any of the web server. What is web server, guys? Web server means it's required access from the public. Public want to access, like youtube.com. Okay, so if you have a web server, any kind of, you don't want to give any local private IP. You have given the public IP only. Okay, so that kind of scenario, if that server belongs to your local subnet only, any kind of like DMZ or any other in your local zone, and your inside zone or any other local zone with having a private IP want to access that particular server which having a public IP, but it is belongs to the local zone only, any kind of a local zone, DMZ or any other stuff. Okay, so that time, whatever the NATing configuration we will do, that concept is called UNAT. That's clear, guys. I think I've cleared out the NAT types. Let's do the lab. So first, I'm going to do a lab for static NAT, guys. We know static NAT, so I'm going to configure static NAT. Okay, I'm going to configure the static NAT. Let's first understand the dynamic NAT, guys. Dynamic NAT. Okay, I'll do the lab for dynamic NAT. What is dynamic NAT, guys? Dynamic NAT, we know that. Sorry, dynamic pad, guys. Okay, dynamic pad. We are going to learn dynamic pad. Pad is what? This is firewall. This is outside. Okay, and we have a local subnet. The PC is in our topology 172.16.1.1. This is I'm using. This is inside zone. Okay, guys, this is outside. This is internet. We will configure this PC, okay, such that this subnet, whenever want to go outside, it will go by this interface IP. Okay, whenever this PC will go outside, it will take this interface IP. That's clear, guys. See, in the dynamic pad, we know there is a two scenarios, right? So, like in the first scenarios, I've explained that if you have an inside zone and you have an inside network, whenever that inside network want to go to the internet, want to access internet, I am writing inside internet, want to go to the internet, okay, either it will take a, in the scenario one, whatever the public IP assigned to here, my outside interface of my firewall, it will take this IP and go to the outside, right? That's what I'm going to demonstrate. And second scenario I've already explained, either it will take a firewall interface IP, or either if you have any free public IP. Where these scenarios come actually, if you don't want, if you have a don't not much public IP, if you are running out of public IP, you don't have if you have a small network, so you have only one public IP connected with a firewall edge. So that kind of scenario you can use this. And if you have a multiple free IP, like if you have some free IP 2.2.2, it's a free IP I'm saying. Okay, you have a free IP, you're not using it. So you can create like this. Okay, whatever my subnet would be, whenever they goes out, it will take this free IP, only one IP, with the help of dynamic path, it will go to the outside. Okay, guys. So that's what there's a scenario two. So same thing, right? So let's see, we will configure the dynamic path. Okay, let's log into the device. What happened? Is someone rebooted? This was my saved lab. Someone rebooted. I see that the PC is 10.11.10. I have to configure it again. Who did this? I think someone rebooted it. This is my save. Admin admin. See that someone rebooted my this system, this firewall. I don't know. I have to configure it from scratch now. Okay. I'm logging to the device. It will take some time. I have to configure it again. Configure it from the very basic. TCP client event. Okay, in static. I think I've explained it. Okay, guys, just 1 minute. Okay. Okay, guys, sorry for that. So IP address. So I'm going to use management 192.168 1.100. I'm sorry. 255.255.255.0. Guys, either if you want DNS, you can configure DNS IP, NTP also from here. Meanwhile, it is committing. Let's come to this device, not this one, this management. This is showing it's a 10.1.1.10 by default. Okay, I need to correct it. Open network share, LAN area connection, properties, and IP version 4. Okay, just click above, which will erase. Click below. I'm going to give 192.168 1.1. Default gateway not required. DNS not required. Okay, so it is successfully committed. Now we will test the configuration. It should work. Ping 192.168 1.100 should ping. It's pinging. It means there is a reachability. Okay, from this device to this Palo Alto firewall. Okay, let's try to log in. 92.168 1.100. let's configure this interface as 172.16.1.100. So I'm configuring Ethernet 1/1, and interface type is layer 3. Network file none. Virtual router is default. It's like this. Security zone none. Okay, we can create from here security zone. New type inside. Okay, it is by default layer 3 because we have selected it there in the interfaces. That is done. IP static. We are choosing static 172.16.1.100. Okay, 172.16.1.100/24. Okay, 172.16.1.100. Okay, advanced. I want management profile. Like anyone can ping. Like I'm created with the name ping. I want that anyone can access this interface on HTTP, HTTP access, telnet, SSH, even ping. Okay, I've given this the management profile. Okay, and okay, this interface is configured. Okay, come to the interface 2. So in the lab we have taken the this one management cloud. So it's a DSCP connected, right? So we will use this outside interface as a DSCP. So that's why it will get the internet from this cloud. Okay, so yeah, interface class 2 we'll choose as a 3, layer 3. Fine, virtual router. Here I'm selecting default only. That. Okay, so I want to put this zone as outside. Outside, nothing, not record anything. Okay, so I come to IP version 4. Here I want to choose DSCP client. That's it, nothing, because it is by default connected by the DSCP. It will get the IP later on. Okay, advanced. I want my management profile. I have already created one profile with the name ping, so it will get all the ping access, HTTP access, internet, whatever. This two is created. If I will click here, what I'm getting, nothing. Okay, it should get the IP. Okay, this two is created and configure. Zones we have created there only. We can see it is reflecting here. Okay. Okay. Now virtual router. Okay, I will explain the virtual router later on. Okay, but come here. Let's configure that. Give the name like this. Okay, here is static route. Static route not now. Sorry, I want. Why? Because once I will get the DSCP IP, what is the default gateway of this DSCP IP? Then we will able to add actually. So let's commit it. So, okay. While committing, there's a two option: committing all changes, committing changes made by admin. Yes, I am doing committing all changes. Here is preview changes. If I select it, select the 20 preview changes. What is preview changes? Whatever I'm going to, what changes I have done. See that added, modified, and deleted. This is a color. Green means you have added something. Yellow means modified. Deleted color is some red kind of. Okay. So see this one interface I have modified. So I have get all the interface. Ethernet 1/1 layer 3. I have given the IP 172.16.1.100 interface management profile ping. I've selected. Okay, so those information we are getting here. Ethernet 1/2 layer 3 enabled interface management profile ping. Okay, DSCP client. Okay, so those things information you're getting. So guys, make sure that is a very important tool. See that this is candidate profile. So first you will just try. Candidate configuration is what I've explained it. Whenever if you do any changes, it will come into the candidate configuration. This is running configuration. Running configuration, whatever the current configuration going on previous prior to commit. Okay. Candidate configuration, we will see whatever I have made the changes right now, but still it is not yet committed. Okay. In the interface, I have interface management profile I have created, right? Ping, HTTPS, yes, HTTPS. That is management profile we have created. If you see in the this side, it is some and BSP. It means it was not previously, nothing is configured. So okay. So we have configured. Always try to compare on both sides, guys. Okay. It is very important to see that interface Ethernet 1 and 1.2 something. It's showing that I have created this. Below, okay, zone. You can see that zone we have created zone inside network layer 3. I have assigned to Ethernet 1/1 outside network layer 3 Ethernet 1/2. Okay, and then import network interface, whatever it is. Okay, this kind of stuff. So that is very important tool. We can identify if someone is trying to deleting something, so we can identify. Okay, I didn't make the changes, but it is deleting. So it's very important tool to identify. Okay, if you do any mistakes, error, anything.